This latest recall, 1.6 million cars, 6 different models involved. It seems to be getting worse for GM. The automaker said 12 people had died and there were 31 cases. Now, a research firm called Friedman Research Corporation out of Austin, Texas, they were commissioned by the government and they've come up with its own set of numbers that are startling and damaging to GM. 303 deaths reported because of faulty airbags. The initial recall was because of faulty ignition switches that basically disables the power steering, power brakes, and the airbags. General Motors releasing a statement Thursday cautioning skeptics, saying the latest research showing 303 deaths comes from raw data. They say, quote, without rigorous analysis, it is pure speculation to attempt to draw any meaningful conclusions.
So is this the right way to handle this latest crisis? Murray has a Fox 2 team of experts with us tonight answering that question and more. Murray?
And Sherry, noted auto analyst John McElroy, Autoline and WWJ News Radio 950 is with us. So is WWJ and Fox 2 legal analyst Charlie Langton. And we're happy to have with us tonight Sandy Hermanoff, Hermanoff Public Relations, veteran public relations and marketing executive who has helped many companies through their crisis situation. John, how bad is this one for General Motors?
Oh, look how bad it is. Here we are live on Fox 2 News talking about it. And this is all across the country. The story keeps getting bigger, not smaller. This is a public relations disaster for GM.
Public relations disaster, but Sandy, in there somewhere, is there some opportunity for the new team at General Motors?
Well, I think so. You know, you've got engineers in charge. You've got real top-notch leaders in charge. And I think they're very bright and they're going to do the right thing. But they have to be a credible source of their own information because there's so much information that's coming from all different sources right now. We don't know which to believe. So they have to prove that they're a credible source of their own. They have to show compassion. They have to be in a cooperative mood. And they have to stay in contact. And with all the social media and everything around, that's a very tough thing. And their trust bank is very important. They have to really prove that the public can trust them.
So they have to get ahead of the story. They have to be the one out there in front, not everybody else saying things about them that they have to react to. But Charlie, don't attorneys tell companies in crisis situations, maybe you better not say anything?
Yes, and here we have a Justice Department investigation, we have a potential congressional investigation, and we're looking at possible criminal activity on the part of General Motors. So, yes, as a lawyer, if I'm representing General Motors, shut up, don't say anything. That's the, but you know, Sandy's, it's a PR. They want to sell some cars. And I think John's right. I mean, this is going to be a disaster PR. But legally, though, there are some real serious issues here. People lost their lives, whether it's 12 that General Motors said, or now this new study that came out, 303, and I don't know, even if it's somewhere in the middle. The issue is, what did GM know, and when did they try to cover it up?
And John, you have information on, you know cars inside and out. You know what the fix is.
My understanding of it is, I'm not going to say I understand all the intricacies of an ignition switch, but my understanding is it just needs a heavier duty spring inside. So when you crank that car over, it has to go through a stronger spring rate to detent and turn off. And so it's a pretty easy fix. I mean, General Motors is saying even when you take it to the dealership, or I shouldn't say General Motors has said this, others have estimated labor cost at the dealer, everything all in is about $50. But the part itself is a couple of bucks.
That's what we are hearing tonight. There are reports out there that the part itself is not very expensive at all. Let me give you a look at a statement that came out from General Motors just last night. Let's take a good close look at this because this is how General Motors has handled it most recently. They say, quoting, without rigorous analysis, it is pure speculation to attempt to draw any meaningful conclusions to the airbag situation that we have today. Sandy Hermanoff, as you look at that statement there, is there something missing?
Well, I think they have to show compassion.
Does that statement do it?
No, not for me. Because if there was an issue where people lost their lives, that you have to be pretty compassionate about this. But this is inherited, you know, this is something that's inherited, the new regime at General Motors. This happened, what, 10, 11 years ago?
It happened with the bankrupt company,
right.
People who are no longer in charge.
Right. So I think they have to be very careful what they say. And I appreciate what you said, but I think saying nothing sometimes is not the...
You can't say nothing.
Thank you, Charlie.
From a PR stand, legally, I would say the very minimal. I think you have to, this is a public company, so you do have to issue some kind of a statement. Not that statement.
No.
That's not good. We feel sorry for the people involved.
Right.
We will do everything we can to get to the bottom, and we are cooperating with the authorities over this issue. How's that? Is that better?
Well, I think they have to tell the truth.
They have to do more than that. They have to show that they're out in front of the situation.
Right.
They should have been the ones that told us, hey, somebody might do some analysis and discover there's even more fatalities. General Motors should have been telling us that.
But the problem is, they made a statement and said, we know of 12. And now the Center for Auto Safety, which I heard John McElroy say on WWJ, they're a reputable company, they do their homework, they came up with 303. What's going on here?
Well, they're starting to back off a little bit, too, because what they've said now is they've analyzed this database, and they came up with this number, but to GM's point, it's not the rigorous analysis that has to be done. But my point is, GM has been reacting to everything. They're not out in front of the situation, and that's why I say this is a PR disaster.
All right, so let's get back to the PR disaster. And what do you do when people are saying stuff about you, Sandy? What do? Do you pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, how dare you say something like that?
Darn right. You're darn right. I mean, I think you got to look them right in the eye, just like this guy. I'm looking him right in the eye, and you got to say, listen, you said this about us, and it's not true. And you have to stop doing that. We want to cooperate with you. We appreciate you and whatever you need to say, but you cannot let people say things that
You're saying work with these people who have been critical of you.
Why not?
And tell everybody, hey, we're working with them to see what they've got and how they got that?
Why not? Why not? That's better than just letting them, it's the control thing.
Without getting specific and mentioning names as we wrap this up, did you ever say that to a client, and did they ever do it and call somebody that was bad-mouthing?
You're darn right.
Seriously.
I've done that many times, and you know what? It's ended up that everybody smells like roses.
Well, right now, this one doesn't smell real good.
No, it doesn't.
Sandy Hermanoff, Charlie Langton, John McElroy, thank you so much for being here to discuss this with us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Sherry?
Thanks.